Thank you for joining us this afternoon. It is tragic that we have to come together after an event like this. Violent crimes such as these do not happen in small, very safe communities such as the City of Independence. But I do have to applaud my Chief of Police, Mike Kilbane, the Independence Police Department, the U.S. Marshals Task Force, and the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigations for helping the City of Independence bring this violent fugitive to justice. And I will let Independence Police Chief Mike Kilbane expound on the details.
Thank you, Mayor. First and foremost, I want to extend our deepest condolences to the Power family. This was a senseless tragedy of an especially vulnerable victim. On Sunday, early morning Sunday, one of our officers found an unconscious male in a parking lot of a gas station on Rockside Road. Summoned medical attention. He was transported to Metro Hospital, and unfortunately he passed away the next day. The responding officers, Officer Shane Bates, Officer Evan Wadley, Officer Everett Hayworth, immediately recognized the seriousness of the crime, and they did what top-notch officers do. They secured the scene, they identified, preserved, and collected important, crucial evidence, and because of their efforts, directly because of what they did that night, we have a violent murderer in custody. Once they got the initial scene secured, our detectives immediately began an investigation. Detective Rich Payne, Detective Mike Murphy, and Detective Lieutenant Charles Wilson spent countless hours interviewing dozens of potential witnesses, looking at physical evidence, digital evidence, viewing hours and hours of surveillance video. We're able to piece together the movements of both the suspect and the victim of this crime and help put together the entire investigation. The Ohio Bureau of Criminal Identification investigation came out and processed the physical evidence. They were able to provide us DNA evidence from the scene that positively identified a suspect. And this morning we obtained a warrant, a murder warrant, for a Mr. Crony Lloyd of Cleveland, Ohio. Once we identified Mr. Lloyd and obtained the warrant, we saw that he had an extremely lengthy violent criminal history. We turned to my good friend and colleague, United States Marshal Pete Elliott. With his assistance, he provided the Northern Ohio Violent Fugitive Task Force. Independence Officer Jim Martin's a member of that task force. Within hours, they had the suspect in handcuffs and in custody. He's currently in the Independence City Jail. He will be arraigned next week, and the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office will present the case to the grand jury. Does anybody have any questions?
What happened?
You discussed, can you elaborate on the victim as well as Mr. Lloyd, what you guys discovered about, did they know each other? I understand, was it an apparent road rage attack, but what you were able to piece together, did they know each other beforehand, or were they just simply at the same place together, or can you elaborate on that further?
Yeah, the investigation showed that they were at the same place. They were at a local lounge here in Independence, but they weren't together. There was no interaction between the two of them. The only thing they had in common, they left at approximately the same time. It appears that shortly after both of them left, there was some type of traffic altercation, possibly a minor collision between the suspect and the victim. And the victim pulled in to the gas station. The suspect pulled in shortly behind him. They got out, spoke for a few minutes, and then the victim was suddenly assaulted by the suspect, and that caused the fatal injuries.
Can you elaborate further on Mr. Lloyd's, or anybody, or Mr. Elliott, or anybody on his violent history and what that entails?
So in 1991, I believe, he was convicted of rape, robbery, and aggravated burglary. And he was in the Ohio Corrections System, I believe, until 2015 when he was released.
Okay, and in the video, it shows the victim fall. But when we were out there, we saw, was it ultimately the fall to the pavement? I mean, I know you're not medical professionals, but from what you guys have been able to piece together, or was it actual, where the gas pumps are, it's actually elevated about this high, did he hit his head on that, and that's what caused?
No, we don't have the specifics. We did speak with the medical examiner's office. They did rule it a homicide because of the trauma to his head, but as to the specifics of the mechanism of the injury, we don't have any specific information yet.
Can you elaborate on the arrest and how that all went down?
I would leave that up to Marshal Elliott.
Sure. Well, first of all, Independence has been a great partner of ours since 2016. Our task force continues to grow. We made the arrest at his place of employment today in Ravenna, Ohio, after Detective Martin was able to track him down, and also other members of the task force. Again, we have a big partnership in Northern Ohio. Independence is part of that partnership. He was actually arrested today by Independence, I believe an Aurora policeman that's a part of our task force. It was easy arrest. We kept the element of surprise on our side and made the arrest. So it was, I hate to use the word simple arrest, but it was a quick arrest.
Was it, I know there was DNA on the scene, and I mean, we were led to speculate that it might have been a cigarette or something that he left. Was that what it was, that they were able to make the positive identification?
We don't want to discuss particulars of the exact evidence until the prosecutors decided on how they want to proceed with the case. Okay, well, thank you everyone for coming, and I do want to thank the media for the coverage they provided for this incident. I know the wider we can spread this type of information, it makes our job easier when we know we have the public out there helping us find these dangerous criminals. Thank you very much.